Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about the Super Hornet F7C-M Mark II and the Heartseeker upgrades. Now, as you can see, we have one right here in front of us. This here is accurate cosmetic damage and wear that will appear on your ship if you use it. I just went and did Pyro. I did the first 6 missions, and this is fully repaired. This is just how it will look until you replace it. Anyway, in terms of the value and power of this vessel, I would say this is pretty much a straight upgrade over the F7A Mark II. Some people would say, oh, well, this is slightly less speedy, or it's slightly longer, but it has more hull HP and a third shield. I would say that more than equalizes the field, and that makes it pretty much a straight upgrade. How do I feel about that? I feel like the F7A should be somehow more powerful because it's specifically designated as a military-only craft, but, you know, maybe they can fix that in the future. As you can see, I'm actually using the stock Super Hornet ball turret here, and I can explain why. In general, having 4 ballistics is fine, but it's really meant for very specific scenarios. Specifically taking on medium to large ships, and knowing that you have other ships around you to take care of the other small ones. You just focus on the big ones and you just do pure damage, and great. And as long as you have a station nearby to go replace your ammo, then fine. But the fact is that if you're going into some more like Pyro, or you're with a group that doesn't want to constantly stop for repairs and replacements, then you really need something more long-term. And that's the default loadout with the 4 Panthers. The F7A, I mean, it comes with cannons, and that's really just sort of like a preference choice, I would say. But really, the turret is not bad. If you're doing specific targeted attacks, let's say targeting, in, like, for example, the Pyro Stage 1 mission, if you're doing headhunters like I am, you actually attack cargo ships and fuel ships. And for that type of situation, if you're gonna go in there, attack only that ship, and then get out, it's great. But if you're fighting other small ships, you really need to be within 700 meters. And otherwise, those shots are really just not gonna stick. And you're gonna just waste so many bullets constantly. In fact, I would say you should really shoot to be within 500 meters, or when you're in a situation where the ship is kind of like in a quick stall in front of you, where it's not quickly moving again, you can land their shots guaranteed. Otherwise, ballistics are not really what you want in a lot of dogfights. That being said, the configuration of the F7A and the Super Hornet are actually quite superior. So we're gonna jump into the seat here, and I'm gonna explain why. Basically, to get started, with weapon groups, you can absolutely designate what fires when. So as we switch over to the weapons panel, you can see that you can actually set individual groups. So currently I have Panthers all in group 1, and then the ballistic cannons are on group 2. Now, you don't need to have a special joystick for this. You can just have 2 different buttons for firing, but most people in the verse these days are using special joysticks and whatnot. If you have something like the VKB Gladiators, which are highly popular, it has a dual stage trigger, so you just set the first one to fire group 1 and the second one to fire group 2. You begin to fire at whatever you need to, and you can, because they're Panthers, which means they fire very quickly and it's very cheap to reload them, you can fire from much farther away confidently and maintain lowering the shields of your opponent, let's say 1500 meters. But when you get up close, then you trigger the real guns, but only when you need to. And then that allows you to conserve ammo and get shots on hit. Shots on target. And if we're gonna go full ballistics, I also recommend doing this. You only have the 2 lasers at the bottom, but it's still better to separate them because you can begin to weaken your targets or get extra hits, but only fire the ballistics when you need to fire the ballistics. And that allows you to really make the most use of them. I think a lot of players are gonna fire as soon as they get the green marker, but if you do that again, you're gonna miss so many of your shots and you're gonna feel like it's weak and not a very good ship. But if you maneuver in close, you will just destroy targets with those ballistics. So, do you get this ship or not? I am a lover of the Scorpius, which has a size 2 shield, but according to Urkel, actually, this has more shield per health with the 3 size 1s. So, do you use this over the Scorpius? It feels like it as a single pilot. What about, the previous Super Hornet? Most people say you should just stick with it, and that's fine. But like I said, everyone knows that this is an upgrade, right? So, upgrade at your leisure. What else? Also the, F8, of course. If you have an F8, you probably want to stick with the F8, alright? It's not going to be quite as maneuverable, but you get far more distance with the Quantum. You get the double size 2 shields. That's going to have more shields. And you have 6 weapons still, so I would say that's pretty much where you're landing with this. But yeah, that's it. I don't want to keep your time. So if you want it or not, there it is. Here's the skin. Very beautiful, but I mean, the ball turret, that's my review. It's an Alright, see you guys later.